Hello and welcome to B4, and today we're going to be talking about the job swap, risk, resilience and development. And I'm joined by Elaine and Gareth from Oxford Innovation. Good morning, both of you.
Morning.
Morning, Richard.
How are you both doing?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
Good
Yes,
stuff.
very well.
Good. So Elaine, you're in Bicester, and Gareth, I believe you're in Barnsley.
Not quite, I'm in Yorkshire.
Same thing. Well, Barnsley's in Yorkshire, isn't it?
It is. I used to live there.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. Brilliant. Well, Elaine and Gareth, maybe first off, Elaine, just give us a bit of background about what you do for Oxford Innovation, and then followed by Gareth.
Yep, so I'm Commercial Director for Oxford Innovation, which means that I look after the commercial performance of our network of innovation centres across the UK.
Fantastic. Gareth?
Yeah, I'm the Business Development Director, so it's my responsibility to grow the portfolio from 26 to as many weird and wonderful innovation centres as we can possibly win and expand our horizons across the UK.
I'm sure they'll appreciate being called weird and wonderful. Just give us a bit of a geographical context, sort of how far and wide innovation centres stretch. Gareth, I'm testing your knowledge now. I'm sure you know all off the top of your head.
So in our portfolio, we would go from the south coast, kind of Portsmouth, Southampton, right the way up through the home counties, up to the Midlands, and then the most northern points of Newcastle upon Tyne and Belfast.
Fantastic. And just a top of the head ballpark number of organisations that inhabit your centres?
Around 1,000.
Wow, yeah. So it's big numbers. Fantastic. So go back to the title of the talk, Job Swap, Risk, Resilience and Development. So tell us a little bit more about the job swap, Elaine, and why you've done the swap and what it entails.
Yeah, so this is something, a tactic that's often used in the military, but one thing that we discovered in the pandemic last year is that we actually, as with many businesses, we operate in quite clean silos, and we were experts in our own area, but not necessarily in other areas of the business. And as we grow and develop as a business and look to the future, we wanted to build more resilience to the business and ensure that we had the skills and breadth of knowledge so that we're able to reduce the risk of a pandemic happening, or somebody having to take some leave, or whatever it was, that we're able to step in for one another and also to challenge one another in a more detailed way than we have been able to previously.
And Gareth, let us know a little bit about the benefits you're hoping and I'm sure already seeing.
Yeah, for us it's very much, as Elaine said, around increasing our resilience, but also about trying to develop our people, to be able to create a pipeline, if you like, of talent throughout the business. It's probably too early to say whether or not that will start to bear fruit in the future, but it is a proven business tactic at much higher levels. So you hear a lot of business talking about CEO bench strength. That's not particularly a big thing in SMEs, but why shouldn't it be? So we're certainly trying to upskill one another, as Elaine said, challenge one another, create that knowledge across the business. And also when people do move on, in the past we've had knowledge voids whereby you'd be going for months, possibly even up to a year, whereby you've got colleagues that join the business that don't have that knowledge. So by having a process of job rotation or job swap, we're able to upskill one another, upskill others in the business, make us far more resilient, and a much better concern moving forward, I think.
So does it give you license? I mean, how does it work practically? And I'm going off piece here a little bit, but in terms of job descriptions and contracts, etc., do you have to factor this into contracts and make amendments to them, or can you literally go up to the can somebody more junior go up to Elaine and say, "Get me a cup of coffee"? I'm joking, but how easy is it for you to chop and change between roles?
It's very easy. It's what we would describe. It's a formal secondment, but it's been done with our mutual agreement. So we wouldn't have done it if either of us said, "No, certainly don't want to do that." With goodwill and having colleagues on board that want to do this, it's very easy to change. So it's not a contractual change as such. It was a one-pager that we signed, safe in the knowledge that at the end of the year, if we want to go back, we can go back. And also, if it doesn't work halfway through, we can be grown-ups and sit down and say, we tried it, didn't quite work. What are the reasons? How can we do it better next time? But in answer to your question, it's very straightforward to do.
Yeah. Fantastic. I'm just wondering if some people might think, oh, that sounds like a contractual HR nightmare, but if you manage to simplify it and everybody's sort of bought into the process, then it makes the whole thing a lot easier. And Elaine, I can't imagine for a minute you start giving instructions about getting your cups of tea. So just using it as an example.
Never. No, I make them cups of tea.
Yeah, I bet you do. So Elaine, how are you enjoying it so far?
Yeah, I must say I am really, really enjoying it. So we've been doing the swap for about 2 months now. We're about 2 months in, and we're looking to do it for a period of 12 months, as Gareth said. So it's a decent length of time, and so to a certain extent, it's probably a bit early to tell, but I'm loving it. I mean, in the business development role, I would be mainly outward focused, working with new clients, new prospects, and trying to raise awareness of what we do. Whereas in this commercial role that I'm currently doing now, it's much more in the engine room, working with the centres, working with our centre teams. So each centre has got its individual team, and the majority of those report to either myself or our commercial manager. And so just being much closer to the business, I'm really liking. Gareth would, I'm sure, support this, that there is not one day that goes past without a new challenge or a new, something that's happened, a new nightmare that's gone off. But that sort of problem solving, solution finding approach, I'm really enjoying. It's very, very fast paced. And there's never enough time in the day to do everything, but that I'm loving the dynamism. I'm loving speaking to the teams, visiting the centres and seeing what it's like on the ground. Having run a centre myself previously, it's like, and I'm able to bring that knowledge to the centre teams, and kind of that coaching side of things is something that's really quite close to me. So yeah, very, very much enjoying it, actually, more than I thought I was going to.
I'm sure in a weird way it must be quite good for staff morale and team morale, team bonding. You maybe feel less isolated in your role if you've got someone that sort of is mirroring you effectively.
Yeah, I mean, I think Gareth and I have been supporting each other, so we've been talking more regularly than we ever have done, I would say. But each of us have got extremely competent teams that are already very up to speed with things. So we're kind of able to draw on their experience, and they're the steady ship in the change of what's happening. So I think it's doing a good job for morale. I haven't heard anything to the contrary to that, but maybe they would keep that quiet anyway. So.
Well, let's ask Gareth the same question. Are you enjoying it, Gareth?
I certainly am, Richard, and I can certainly concur with Elaine's comments about what the commercial director's role is like and how busy it is, and that no 2 days are the same. I think having I've been in the commercial business of a wife for 10 years, 3 of those as commercial director, and 18 months of those was through a pandemic. So to come through kind of the back end of it, and then to get a role change, and the pace of my professional life has slowed down somewhat as I get into the business development world. And I think for my own sanity, that's been a good thing. I didn't realize it at the time, but just being able to take a step back, think about our business through a different lens. I'm really starting to enjoy that and look at it through a critical eye, rather than, oh no, something's happened today and I really need to deal with that because it's mission critical. Today I think, okay, we've got a bid coming down the line. What can I use from my experience? I've got 3 to 4 weeks to turn it around rather than 3 to 4 hours. And it's kind of a different way of working for me that I am really starting to enjoy. At first it was a culture shock, a huge one, because I've obviously been used to being in what you might describe as the muck and bullets to some extent. But now certainly taking a more critical eye, a more thoughtful eye, taking time to think about the future of our business a little bit more. And I also know that's something that Elaine used to enjoy as well. So I know it's not just unique to myself, but in answer to your question, right now I'm enjoying it and will certainly enjoy it more as we hopefully get some centre wins under our belt.
Fantastic. And Elaine, anybody watching this, listening to your experiences, I imagine the answer to the question, would you recommend it, would be a wholehearted yes.
2 months in, yes. I think we're both looking at each other's areas with different eyes, different, as Gareth says, a different lens, and so we're bringing a different way of thinking about this. So I think it is a very interesting, very strategic move for us, but could be incredibly useful for other businesses to use as well, particularly if they're looking to build a relatively junior team. Actually, Gareth and I have been in the business for a long time, but we're both new to our roles and relatively new, kind of 3 years in. So for any business that's looking to grow a team, I think it is a very good thing to do. I mean, you probably want to ask us that question again in another few months' time, and then at the end of this process to see, what benefits that we have seen. But yes, so far, I absolutely would recommend it.
Fantastic. And I presume there are plans to expand to other roles, Gareth? Not yourself, I think you've probably got enough on your plate, but I mean other people in the organisation.
Yeah, I certainly think this is certainly a test for us. We're using it as a pilot scheme, if you like, and it's right that we as directors participate in that rather than starting at a junior level and seeing how it goes. I think we're setting an example. There certainly has been 1 or 2 comments that I've heard about, are you looking to expand this through the business? I think the answer would be yes, we would like to. I think we are geographically spread. I think there's quite big geographic gaps between a lot of our sites. So I think certainly the next tranche of this may well come through what we call our senior management team, or SMT, or some of our central office function. It's quite difficult as well with smaller teams where we've got specialisms. So that we've got colleagues that we could never do a job swap with. So I'm never going to swap with the financial director. I'm never going to become a compliance, health and safety director. But there are roles in the business, I think, that whereby we could start to look to upskill people, but then also tap into colleagues that have got passions about certain subjects that we've not yet unearthed, that actually a job swap might help to bring them on. We know people have got degrees that they've never actually used their degrees because they've just come out into the workplace and taken any job that they possibly can. There might be an opportunity through job rotation to help some colleagues to develop. So I don't think it's a right now or a next week, but I certainly think over the next sort of 6 to 12 months, it's something that we will look at again and say, let's find two more colleagues that we feel that can benefit through job rotation, because ultimately this is about the benefit for the business, the future proofing of the business. There's an element of succession planning to make sure that throughout the business we're just not constantly looking to recruit new blood all the time, or we're not looking to recruit and place somebody in a more senior role because they've been with us a long time and we feel obliged to. They've actually got the skill set to do it and we've helped them develop that. So where it will come, I don't know. And Elaine might disagree with me, but I think that 2 months in, it looks great. All the research you read about it looks great, but on the ground, have we seen any tangible benefits yet? No, apart from, I guess, mine and Elaine's enthusiasm and our way of looking at work at the moment. But I hope we are able to do it again in the future.
Yeah, I think we might do it across some of our centres. I mean, as Gareth said, geography might dictate where we can and can't do that. But for example, across Oxfordshire, where we do have a cluster of innovation centres, that getting centre managers, assistant centre managers, even our customer experience assistants, moving around from centre to centre actually brings benefits in giving them something new and challenging to do, but also brings that fresh approach. And there may be things that are working really well in one centre that we can then learn and apply in other centres that we may not even see at a more senior level. So yeah, it's something that I'm kind of looking after most of the innovation centre managers. It's something that I'm particularly interested to do. As Gareth said, it's not going to be tomorrow, but it may be something that we look at doing before our time is out in 12 months' time.
Brilliant. Well, we look forward to catching up with you in 6 months for Job Swap 2, the aftermath, to see how it's going.
Lovely.
Excellent. Good to see you both, and continue good luck with the job swap, and we'll catch up soon.
Great, thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Richard.
Cheers, good to see you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.